Welcome to the second lecture of our marketing course in Module 8, Week 8, entitled The Art and Science of Marketing From Basic to Breakthrough. In this Week 8, Module 8, we are discussing the pricing and pricing strategies. How to formulate the pricing strategy of any organization. So, first lecture we covered the factor influencing the pricing decision of any organization. In second lecture, we will try to find out the process of pricing, what exactly the mechanism organization used to follow to decide the price of their offer. I, Dr. Asutosh Mohan, Associate Professor at Institute of Management Studies, Banaras Hindu University, BHU, welcome you in the lecture 2 of week 8 related with understanding of pricing process. Let's start with the objective of the session. Two objectives which I want to highlight here for a session. The structured process, we try to understand, I try to explain the structured process of pricing or setting a price, and we try to apply this pricing price process framework to different product context. Let us take one example to understand the importance of pricing. The launch of Netflix in India. The Netflix entered in Indian market in 2016 with a global pricing model, which they perceived as a successful model to enter into Indian market. But they realized the Indian market is quite price sensitive. Now, if Indian market is price sensitive and they were not able to catch the sentiments of Indian customer, what they did? They revised the pricing model with mobile first and localized plan. Very crucial. They adapted as per the condition of market. They adapted as per the value perception of the customer. So, they offered some price tags for mobile app only, and they try to differ those price based on the regional contents or the regional differences. So, what is the learning? So, learning for us is pricing must reflect a local demand, competition and the perceived value, which we already covered in terms of understanding the different factors influencing the price. Now, let us move to understand the crux or the detail, not to say crux, but the detail related with the pricing process. A pricing process for any organization usually have 6 different steps. The first step is select the price objective. Second one is determine the demand. The third one is estimating cost, then analyzing competitors, cost, price and offer, select a pricing method and then select a final price. Now, for first process or the first step in the pricing process, we already covered in our lecture 1, where we discuss the pricing objective may have 6 different objectives. It may have the objective in terms of survival, it may have the objective in terms of maximizing the market share, maximizing the current profit, may have the objective in terms of maximizing or skimming the market altogether, or to achieve a larger market share or market growth rate, or maybe to establish an organization as a quality leader with a price tag. So, those objectives we need to recall to start with the process of pricing. Now, let us move to the second one. This is a kind of recap which I just presented, whether you want to maximize the profit, increase the market share, survive, price quality leadership. Remember, all these strategic alignment need to match with the company goals. So, next step in pricing process is determining demand. Now, determining demand, depends on various factors. One of the very crucial factor is price sensitivity. Now, what is price sensitivity is? Just try to understand what we mean by price sensitivity, how sensitive we are in relation with price. It's not only related with the value perception, it also depends on several other factors responsible to increase or decrease the price sensitivity. For example, substitute awareness effect. This is very crucial factor. Now, if I ask you, what do you think? Who is the biggest competitor of exterior wall paint industry? What will be your response? Several times I get the answers in terms of different paint brand names. But listen my question carefully, what I asked. I am simply asking who is the biggest competitor of exterior wall paint industry. Now, exterior wall paint industry is having the biggest competition from float glass manufacturers, because nowadays you will find the commercial buildings on a front side have float glasses rather than a wall to paint for. So, the competitor may be float glasses, the competitor may be the tiles or the different stones which are applicable ones, no need for maintenance, and accordingly there is no need for paint to go for. So, substitute awareness, if you find there are substitutes which are good enough to go for rather than the original product, your sensitivity for price will be high. But if you are not aware about the substitute, then your sensitivity for the price will be low, because you think this is the only option and I have to go with whatever the price the company is charging. This is what substitute awareness effect is. Similarly, the shared cost effect. Suppose you are going in a partnership or you are going to a tour where two families are combining their resources to enjoy one destination. So, if two families are combining the resources to enjoy the destination, when you have a clear indication that the cost will be shared by two families equally, don't you think your price sensitivity will decrease immediately? You may go for certain more luxurious kind of option or more pricey kind of option, because you are having in your mind that it is going to be shared by the other family. So, the overall cost will be less in comparison to using the facility as a single user. Good enough? This is what shared cost factor that also affect the price sensitivity. Sunk investment. If you identify you invested something good and you have to make this investment viable for a longer duration, then you don't bother about the recurring cost occur with those particular element. Your price sensitivity used to decrease. Take an example. If you have a printer and that printer need to have a specific cartridge, the only company made cartridge, no other cartridge is applicable. You invested an amount to purchase the printer, but if you have hesitation to purchase a cartridge which is relatively costlier, don't you think your printer will be a dump, a printer will be scrap? To save your printer, to save your printer's investment to become a sunk investment, you keep on purchasing the costlier cartridge. This is what your price sensitivity for cartridge reduces. And this is what we need to understand, the things related with the price sensitivity whenever we estimate the demand for an organization to decide about the price. Similarly, the total cost of ownership. that include not only the price, that include many other non-monetary factors, maybe the pre-purchase cost element, purchase cost element, and the post-purchase cost element. If you combine all those and then try to find out the total cost of ownership of that product, then only you find the actual level of demand or the accurate level of demand. Estimating demand curves, very crucial, how to forecast the demand, how to analyze the trend, how to use the different forecasting techniques in an accurate manner, that is very crucial element to understand for. And finally, the price elasticity of demand represented by two graphs, inelastic demand and elastic demand. Just see the slope of graph represent, in the first case it is a inelastic demand, and in second case when a slope is less it become elastic demand. Now estimating cost, the third step of pricing process. Now when I talk about estimating cost, we need to understand the two factors, the different types of cost. We obviously know there are two specific or three specific costs: fixed cost, variable cost and overhead cost. Now whatever the fixed cost element that is actually invested by the organization to establish the facility, variable which you are indulging the cost which is used to produce a product, it an overhead is divided or it is undivided or a common kind of cost which every facility may have. Now what is the importance of understanding the cost? Remember, estimating cost provides the base of a price. There are certain concepts. When we talk about the price floor, then we need to understand the minimum price which you can charge to market. And what can be that minimum price? Don't you think the minimum price which you can charge to market need not to be less than the variable cost of production? If you are charging less than the variable cost of production, then possibly you are not working for the profitability, you are working for charity. The situation might be a worse situation where there are less chances of recovering the fixed cost with over a number of units, but still no organization can sell the product below the variable cost. So in the adverse situation also, the minimum price on which you are making no compromises, that is what price floor is, and usually it matches with the variable cost. Several times the organization, when they are facing the issue of survival, they keep selling price a little above the floor, might be on floor, that may be a case of dumping in international trade, where you simply want to recover your variable cost without bothering the fixed cost. So fixed variable overhead cost gives an estimation what you have to charge for, and that decides the price floor. Similarly, the another factor which is very crucial to be understandable in the third process or third activity or the third step of pricing process, that is to know the break-even point. The break-even analysis tells the organization how long will it take, with what amount of sales volume the company will reach at a point where there will not be any profit nor loss. Below that point, the chances of losses are there. Above that point, the chances of earning profit will emerge. So you need to know how long, with what volume, the company will reach to the break-even point, so that they can plan the resources and its investment accordingly to remain floated for that duration at least. And this is why break-even analysis is an integral component of estimation of cost. Similarly, there is one more phenomena that is called accumulated production experience curve. This is also called as a learning curve. Over a period of time, when we keep on producing, so if your curve is moving like this, but over a period of time it may move little lower, because you learn, you experience, and with your experience you learn how to do the things more efficiently. And if you learn how to do the things more efficiently, with generation of more and more volume, the cost of production will definitely come down, and that is what the experience curve talks about. That is what the learning matrices, the learning curves we are witnessing in different organizations over a period of time. So after estimation of the cost, next thing is analyzing the competitors' pricing. Now, analyzing the competitors' pricing is actually representing the another phenomena that is called price ceiling. So, cost is giving you the floor, the minimum an organization can charge to the market. This is what floor is, the minimum. The competitor analysis is giving you the actually the ceiling, the maximum which you can charge. So, floor is decided by the cost, minimum to this you cannot move, ceiling maximum which you can charge to the market, above the ceiling, moving above the ceiling. I am not saying impossible, but it is difficult. So, if you want to break the ceiling, you need to have such kind of offer in it with you, such kind of product quality or such kind of matrix where the customers are perceiving your product is much better than the competitor, then only you can break this particular ceiling. And the competitors, the benchmark in the industry provides this upper range of price which company can opt for. So, industry benchmark, that is one of the understanding which every company need to have. The perceived value versus competitors advantage, how competitors products are placed and how you want to place your product, that need to be understandable. For example, Swiggy versus Zomato, they always try to have price parity in their meal combo. They keep on watching one another offer, remain vigilant, and accordingly just try to match one another offer so that they remain competitive at the marketplace. So, competitor analysis or analyzing the competitor price is a very crucial factor. So, cost decides the floor, the competitors, the benchmarks in the industry decides the ceiling. If you want to establish your own benchmark, you want to break the ceiling, make the offer accordingly. Try to create that kind of distinctive image, and then only it's possible. Otherwise, you need to move between floor and ceiling. Now, my question to you is, no company want to be on floor, every company want to be on ceiling. That is fact. No as such confusion in that. But you don't want to be on floor, you want to be on ceiling, but everyone is not so fortunate to reach on the ceiling. They keep on moving between this floor and ceiling. So, who is going to decide what exactly is going to be price? Any idea? Any guesses? Who will decide? Whether you will remain on floor or whether you will go to the ceiling or break the ceiling or just move in between the floor and ceiling. Who will decide? Just think. Let us move further. Choosing price method, the second last step of pricing process. We have different pricing methods, say cost plus pricing, the value based pricing, the competition based pricing, the psychological pricing. Lot many pricing methods are there. And we will try to understand these methods in detail when we talk in our lecture 3, the different pricing techniques. So, I am leaving these methods at this point of time just to understand there are certain techniques, the scientific techniques which helps us to understand what will be the price of our product. So, deciding price is an art, but which is based on the scientific techniques which we need to understand, and we will understand in our lecture 3 when we talk about the pricing techniques. Now, the last step, select the final price. What will be the final price? Suppose pricing technique is giving you certain price indication. Will you go with that pricing technique's price indication, or there might be certain other consideration? For example, you need to check it with the legal and ethical issues, the geographical pricing discounts. You need to check with the flexibility for promotional or life cycle consideration. That is again very crucial. So, there are certain other consideration. So, there might be a price tag which is obtained by those technique, but still there are certain consideration which are actually influencing the final price. Psychological pricing, which we mentioned in the last slide altogether, that is again a kind of psychological pricing, is a kind of deciding the final price. So, what actually it is? The geographical conditions, the market condition, the legal and ethical issues, all those are having lot of influence in deciding the final price of the product. For example, Apple India offers the student discounts. Why they are offering the student discount? Just think about it. They want to intervene in the life of a student with the Apple product, and they try to develop a habit of using Apple product. So, if they offer the discount, the chances of building a more loyal and committed kind of customer, and accordingly they try to build their customer base to remain intact with the Apple ecosystem. So, that is a psychological thing, that is a marketing thing which decides the final price. Might be certain final price for Apple product reached with the technique, but company want to offer certain discounts. Some company want to compromise with the possibility of earning more and more profit, because they want to see themselves placed beautifully in the minds of young consumer, so that they can reap the advantage for next 20 years, next 30 years. That is what they are thinking about, and that is what this discount proposition comes in their mind, and they are offering the same in the Indian market. Good enough to go for? So, what is the summary? We need to understand pricing is not a guess. It cannot be an overnight dream and I will come up with one price that this is going to be my price of product. It is not a guess. It is not a gut feel. It is a systematic and scientific multi-factor decision. Agree? Customers' value, cost base and competitor landscape must align. That is what we discuss, the price floor, the price ceiling, but still you might be having in your mind how to decide the price in between the price floor and ceiling. Remember, in price floor and ceiling, this is floor, this is ceiling. What exactly the price you are offering to the market depends on the value perceived by the customer. So, if value is perceived maximum at par with the competitor, you may charge to the ceiling. If value is considered minimum, then you need to charge near to the base floor. But value may move in between the floor and ceiling, and based on the customer perception of value, the price is going to be there. So, higher the perception of value, you are bound to charge near to the ceiling. Lower the perception of value, you are bound to charge near to the price floor, and that is what the beauty of price floor and price ceiling. The last one, the process ensures strategic pricing, not just tactical reaction. It is a strategic decision, it is a long term decision, it is not a short term gain which we are looking for with the pricing process, with the pricing decision. That is what we need to understand. So, I am leaving you with the post session assignment, think and answer. Have you ever bought something at a discount and felt it was better value? No dissatisfaction, feeling a happiness, a delight, maybe a delight. Why? Why you think like this, and what kind of value estimations, value understanding which match with the price or value exceed with the price. So if you want to read the book chapter, go for Kotler and Keller, Marketing Management chapter 14, which talks about pricing in detail. Thank you for your attention, thank you for your energy, and thanks to remain stick with the course of marketing in week 8. Next lecture we will discuss the different pricing techniques. Thanks again.